Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Mac.
And today we're giving a review of the Tapestry rubber playmat.
Yes.
And this was something that was sent to us by Stonemaier Games, so we appreciate that, but know that going into it.
Is it rubber or neoprene?
I think this one was a rubber, called rubber.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe I'm...
It is stretchy.
Yeah, because I think
it does feel different than
that at least... I know they've done that for at least some, because I know he's called something a rubber playmat, so I just assumed it was this one, but yeah, I think it is that. But yeah, so it was sent to us by them, so just know that going into it. So whether there's bias or not, we will see. But then a second part of this to note is that we're not usually playmat people, so we don't usually get them for our games in general, and it is maybe a thing to point out that Tapestry has been one of my favorite games of all time, and I never found the urge to go buy this by myself, so it wasn't something that I was necessarily like, oh, I need to get this, just because we don't really have a good way of storing it. So in the comments below, let us know if you know of good ways to store playmats. But that's kind of been one reason why most of the time I don't think it'd be a great idea to fold a lot of them and put them in the box, even if they did fit. I don't know that this one would fit.
No.
Especially since we've got all the expansions and the special insert that I don't know if Stonemaier still sells it on their web store, but I know it's out there. And yeah, I don't think it would probably fit. And it's a pretty large playmat.
Yeah.
If you've played Tapestry, it's kind of like the size of the board, plus about what you would imagine if you have the arts and architecture track on there, and then kind of having the buildings and cards around.
Kind of the peripheral.
So it does take up a good chunk of room. It's going to take up a bit of space to store for most people, I would think. Maybe if you roll it up, I think some people do it like that and put it on one of those. I don't know if it's supposed to hold maps or something.
Oh yeah.
I'm just thinking of something like that. I think some people do that. But yeah, so we played a game with this, and I think it worked pretty well. It does a good job at indicating where the different buildings are. Like this one side here has like all the arts buildings, science, military, technology. It has spots for all of those, and then it's got spots for buildings from the tech cards. And then you've also got if you do have the arts and architecture expansion, you've got that already kind of attached to here instead of having to use the extra cardboard piece. You got place for the tech cards.
Space tech.
Yeah, space tiles over there.
Tap cards and the landscape cards.
Yeah, so you got a spot for pretty much everything you need in the game, which is nice. I think that's probably the biggest pro. I think it's laid out really well.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how it would feel necessarily, like having specific spots for these things, because obviously up until this point, there wasn't really necessarily a place to put these buildings, so we'd usually just put them to a side or in the box.
Pull them out.
And just do it when you needed it. But this is a great way to be able to see, oh, someone already took the second level science building or something like that. So I think the layout of it is really pretty good. Would you agree? Or what were you thinking while you were playing?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's nice to be able to see like what buildings have been taken. You could use those like little tokens, I guess, but I feel like that's not as good as like physically seeing what's out there, especially because some of the buildings look somewhat similar. So if you're just looking at like a little disky thing, you might not realize. And this also gives you the gridding of the building itself, so like you can see like how big it is, as opposed to just like on that disc. Like you might know mentally how big it is, but some of these have some interesting like shape pieces. So for at least the ones that go on the landmarks for the tracks. So I thought that was good. We are sitting on the side that has like all the buildings lined up here when you have them out, and the game was in front of us. So every time I went to reach for the board, I was always like kind of trying to reach over, trying not to knock stuff on either here or there. But this game's a table hog no matter if you set it up on the
Yeah.
on the neoprene or just the regular board, there's always going to be something you're probably going to be bumping with the sleeve. So I don't know that it's that big of a deal, but I did like, that it gives you like different slots for the tech cards, so you know how many are supposed to be out there. The arts one, I think, also gives you slots for the cards. So I think that's really nice too. Not that it's hard to remember how many are out there, but it's like that box is empty. We need to put another card out. Kind of a helpful reminder idea, I think. So, and I thought the rest of it was really good. I feel like the color and the detail came through really well on this. I wasn't sure because the way, board game boards are, they tend to be pretty detailed and, you have to be able to tell what you're doing, especially in Tapestry, and I just wasn't sure, how that would translate to like a fabric version, because it's a fabric over the rubber, I'm assuming, and it actually looks really good and not really at all distorted.
No, yeah, I think that they did a good job with that for sure. You can easily tell what the different things are. And it just looks, I don't know that I'd notice it'd be much different than the regular board game itself, board mat. But yeah, I think, like you'd kind of mentioned, probably my biggest thing with this one, we tend to, I would say we mostly play this at 2-player, it seems like, but sometimes playing 3-4. And we just tend to play our 2-player games on the same side of the table. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. If you're a couple of gamers, do you usually sit on opposite sides of the table looking at each other, or do you sit on the same side? We tend to sit on the same side. And
part of that's also just kind of how our area is configured too.
That's true. And I think that does make it a little bit difficult with just because the buildings are here. Usually, I think if we play Tapestry, the board is probably a little closer to us, and then we probably have the buildings more along the sides.
Yeah.
But so maybe this one would be one we'd have to, if we sat on opposite ends, so that we could easily, one of us could reach the things on this side and the other one could move tokens on that side, or however you ended up doing it. I think that would maybe work a little bit better than both sitting on this side, because yeah, we definitely had to probably stand up a little bit to move some of those things. But
luckily,
like you said,
neither of us went up that track much.
That's true. But like you said, I mean, it's a big table hog either way, so you're probably gonna have things, especially if you do have any of the expansion content and stuff, and it's just a big table hog of a game to begin with.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I guess final kind of thoughts on whether or not this would be needed in a collection that someone really loves Tapestry. I think if you tend to like playmats and get them for a lot of your games, I would say that it would be worth it if you usually get them. I don't think I can't think of any major negatives if you are already someone that gets a lot of playmats. I guess I don't have much to compare it to in terms of other playmats and how they tend to work.
Yeah.
I think overall this one does a really good job, just because there are so many outside pieces that you tend to usually have to put somewhere around the board. Yeah. It's not really a specified spot per se. Now having a spot for that, I think, is really nice. But if you're not, I feel like I would have a hard time going and buying it, I think, personally.
Yeah, I think
majorly because of storage.
I was just gonna say, I
think that's the biggest part.
I love how organized it is. I really do.
But just fold it up like the game board and could go in there. Yeah. It'd be a pretty nice thing.
Our problem is storage. In our house and where we play board games, there's not really a good spot for this. No. And we don't really have good wall space either to be able to do a playmat setup kind of a thing. So that's like the one thing. But, after a while, those boards get tired. You bend them so much and they fold into 4. And
that's true. The Tapestry board is one where
I
feel like that one could wear out a little bit, because it just got the different bending to
it. And luckily,
but
we've never had any actual board game, the board wear, but it feels more susceptible to that.
And this is one this is probably, like I said,
a well-played one.
Since it's been one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, we've definitely used the board close to 50 to 100 times. So.
Yeah. But here's the interesting thing, though, because now that we have it, even though we didn't buy it, even though we don't really have a place to store it, if we play Tapestry, I bet you 9 times out of 10, you will choose the rubber mat over the board.
That is true, I guess.
Like, I don't know where we're going to put this, but it's coming out when you play Tapestry.
That is fair. I guess if I think about it that way, that it's probably 100% true.
I'll
probably always grab this.
Yeah.
Because, especially with the storage that I have right now, I noticed
is the board at
the bottom of the box, so I didn't have to take everything out, and I could just leave the board on the bottom of the box, so that was nice.
Yeah. So we just got to find a spot to put this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
but yeah, you're probably right. I would probably almost always use this unless I was traveling somewhere and just brought the Tapestry box. I don't know that I mean, if it was just a game night across the town, then I could probably bring it. But if I was, going on a trip somewhere a little further away, maybe I'd bring it. I guess it doesn't take up that much room if you fold it up.
Yeah,
briefly. It just kind of gets in the way then, maybe. And one thing you have to worry about.
It is interesting though, because while we aren't like diehard saying yes, you have to get it, at the same time, it feels like it's like, I don't know why we'd ever play with the board again.
That's true.
So do what you will with this information, because I do not know how to categorize this.
It is a hard one, but yeah. If you aren't someone that gets playmats and you think that will be an issue for you storing it, then maybe you don't need it. But if you're willing to give it a try, it has at least made me think of, if I saw this for maybe some other games, I might consider it. But maybe then if I got a bunch of them, we could come up with some sort of solution that's a little better. But like I said, let us know in the comments below what your best solutions you've ever seen are for storing these. I think some people also like put them on hangers and stuff. I don't know how that would work with this one. I don't know if you clip them on.
I'd be afraid of the clippy things. So.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking of. And so I don't know if that's what they do or if they just hang it over and have it like half and half. But I don't know.
I wonder if I could thrift like one of those old blanket racks that people use to like display blankets, but this is pretty wide, so I don't know. It is.
This one is quite large. Like I said, we don't really have anything to compare it to. I know other board games have had it where here's the same. This one adds extra stuff to the sides, which is really nice. But I think some games have it just pretty much the same exact as the board. I feel like if it was just the same exact as the board, I probably wouldn't like it as much.
I agree, because I feel like this does a really good job of organizing, because you're still going to have this space taken. Like, you can't avoid...
It just looks cleaner.
Yeah. These, and you have to, if you're going to play with the arts, then you have to have the arts track. Like, this is stuff that has to be out there, so he did a good job. I mean, the only thing that is not necessary would be the landscape stuff, but even then, it's helpful.
I think it's necessary. I would, if you've already gone and added those things, I would add these.
Well, I'm sure that's why you did it, because it is good.
It's good.
Makes sense.
So like you said, do with this information what you will. I do like it, but storage is the big thing. Yeah. So, we did not have an unboxing for this one because it just came in a box. We opened it up and it was just there, so there wasn't really much to unbox. It was just the playmat. Don't check that out, but check out our other videos. We got a ton of Stonemaier content. Most of it wasn't provided by Stonemaier Games. We had many of them before they sent us anything, so
and tons of Tapestry content.
A lot of Tapestry stuff. And Sibs ranked before. I don't know if we had all of them at that point, so it's maybe a little outdated. I have to play some more Tapestry and get to know some of the newer ones and re-rank. But subscribe, and as always, keep on nibbling on our content.